Hello, everybody. This is my name is Mark Preco, president and founder of Atom Software, and I'll be doing a demonstration for you guys today, and I'm glad that you're able to make it this morning. And I'll start off with if anyone, basically how we're going to do this, because there's a few of you on the call, is any questions. Oh, now you should be able to hear me better. But any questions you have, if you can ask them during, you won't be able to actually talk, but you could type them out and I'll go ahead and answer them and I'll read them. And if I have to wait, I'll wait till the end, but hopefully I'll be able to do the questions while we're talking about the actual subject in here in the software. So to begin, hopefully everyone can see my screen. If you can't, just go ahead and message. But I'm on the home page here. So I'm just going to give a demonstration of now I know everybody's office operates a little differently, but and I'll try to cover as much as I can that would probably hit your office. But some of the features I might display, you may not need in your office, but there's others that it might be applicable to. So we'll begin with the typical way the client were to call in and schedule an appointment. So with an Atom, with our appointment calendar, we'll just go ahead and do a search. Always going to do a search to locate the client. And the client we're going to work with is Keisha James. So if Keisha calls in, wants to schedule an appointment, your receptionist will go ahead and search for them. All right, we pull them up here. So we have the search results, and there's a lot of information you get right away that you don't typically get in any kind of other appointment calendar. For example, I can see, which office she went to last year, what her business type is. So it's tax prep, her last year, which is 2017, if she's married or not, still owes me money. In this case, she has a balance due of 165, so I might want to deal with that right then and figure out if they even want to do her tax return. I can see the status, so she still is in pending client, which means we're still waiting on information from her for 17. Then we can rank the returns. So in this case, we're using a star system, but you could use whatever you'd like. So this is important because you can make sure you match up the right preparer with the right return, so you don't give an inexperienced preparer a difficult return. And then we also know how long it takes to do the return. So if we're actually going to sit down with the client while they're there, we know how much time to block off. Also, they typically might ask, who did my return last year? So I have Jonathan Cooper here did that. How many years they've been with us? What we charged last year? Just so they typically ask if you go up in price or not. And you can also rank your client. So from A, B to C. I just went to a conference yesterday and they were talking about this client has like 25 bookkeeping clients. And so if they don't want to add any more, they want to keep it 25. But if they add if someone comes in as a prospect and they want to add them, they drop number 25 completely off and then they add them in. So then they get a better client. But then they have their way of ranking. So Atom has a way of ranking your client if you'd like to. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the schedule link. That's going to shoot me right into my calendar for today. I'll go ahead and minimize this pop-up box. I can see all my preparers. And we have the work schedule is built into the appointment calendar. And the reason that's important, so then you make sure you don't actually schedule a client for someone who's not actually working. So this would be helpful if you have part-time employees that have flexible schedules. So for example, Ken here, he's coming in at 11, and then I have Will is actually leaving at 2, so I cannot schedule in the white areas. So it helps by having the. Now, if you don't have if you have a smaller office and maybe you just have one person, then your calendar would look like this. So just for Mark, I'd be able to see what's on Mark's calendar. But if I have more than one preparer, then I can see all my preparers here. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule this with Mark, and I'll go ahead and do it for 11 o'clock. So I select 11. And as you notice, my difficulty, my prep time automatically carried forward. Now I'm going to go ahead and select Mark. I'm going to request Mark because they specifically want to see Mark. Then I can go ahead and expand this. I can type a note if I'd like. So maybe quoted, 215. All right. So then Mark would see this when she comes in. Then I can also send an email or a text confirmation to the client. So let's go ahead and save it. Now they automatically got blasted, email and a text, confirming the appointment. All right, now Keisha here is on my schedule from here I could drag and drop it, move it wherever I want. I can move it to another preparer if I'd like to. So to make this really easy, I'll move it back to my 11. We also have these coded, so business type tax prep is going to be green. Then I have, purple is bookkeeping. You can control this. This is all customizable. This is an easier way to see your calendar to see who's coming in and what business they're coming in for. Then we also have a nice summary box down here. This is going to actually track how many appointments you have. If you actually have walk-in traffic, it actually will track how many walk-ins you have, but it'll tell you whether they're keeping their appointments or they're not. So here I have 1/4, meaning one person came in out of appointments on my calendar today. And I'm going to show you when I demonstrate the portal, we can also have your client schedule their own appointments, but you can track that to see, is that wise? Do you want them to schedule? Are they actually keeping their appointments if they're scheduling them? So because we check the clients in kind of off the calendar, so we always have a history of whether these people keep their appointments or not. So now I booked my appointment. Now I'm going to go back to my home page here. Now I'm going to check. Now Keisha's going to come in for her appointment. So we have a self check-in screen that's just a tool to help aid the receptionist at the front desk. So it doesn't really replace them. I mean, it could up to a point, but it just is a tool to help speed up the process of checking in. So, and again, you don't have to use this. You could go right from the calendar and check in if you think this is going to be a turnoff to your client. But so Keisha would walk through my door, and we just have like a monitor sitting up there. It could be a laptop, could be an iPad, and they're going to enter their social. Hit enter. It's going to welcome them back. It's going to say you have a scheduled appointment with Mark at 11 o'clock. And then this part you can actually customize. So in this case, we have it. You grab a clipboard and update your contact information, and Mark will be with you momentarily. And it says thank you. And then the check-in screen will pop back up for the next person to come in. And then now I move this out of here. Now on my home page here, refresh my screen. On the lobby, so lobby's typically the starting point. Okay, so we have 3 in the lobby. 2 of them, it says, are past due, meaning they've been sitting there too long. So now I can track. And with Adam, there's a couple goals of Adam. One is, try to get paperless, remove the file folders, because those usually are a problem for you. And 2, to put everything in one place, all your applications in one place, to make it easier to manage everything. So here we have a lobby because we're going to try to eliminate our file folders. So this is giving me a lot of information, tells me how many years the client's been with me, the difficulty, prep time, and it shows I have an appointment with Mark. This one's a walk-in. It also will tell me how many visits they've been for the current year, so I can see here this Diaz has been here. This is his 4th visit already for the year, and so it's telling me we've already completed it, and now they're coming back in to do an amendment. So I get a lot of information off my lobby screen. And I also get, if I'm back doing a tax return, I can see that I have 11 o'clock appointment, so I need to speed up the process. Somebody asked a question, does the calendar sync with Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar? So what it does sync up with the Google Calendar. So once I book the appointment, if I go back and open this back up, I can add it on my Google Calendar, so I can push it to my Google Calendar, but I can't pull anything from Google. So if I make a change on my Google, it's not going to sync up here and display it here in Adam. And then we're not synced up with Outlook. With Adam, because it is a web-based application, you can access Adam anywhere that has internet access, including your phone. So you can actually, you can pull it up on your phone, book an appointment. I was just actually coming home from a conference yesterday, and I was talking to someone on the phone, and they wanted to schedule an appointment with me next Tuesday. So I pulled over to the side, pulled out my phone, pulled up my calendar for next week, saw I had an availability slot. I actually then scheduled the appointment with the person. So again, with Adam, we're trying to eliminate applications and merge them into one to make your life simpler. So it doesn't sync up because we don't see the big need to sync up, because Adam does everything for you. So we're trying to eliminate applications. And if you had to put like personal time in here, you can just block off a certain amount of time. You don't actually have to say you're going to the dentist or the doctor. You can just block it, and so that nobody could actually book an appointment for you. So that's kind of our solution for not syncing up. We just haven't seen the real need for it because our calendar is so accessible from everywhere. Okay, getting back to, I'm in the lobby now. Okay, let's just say this client, because I know a lot of you guys may not operate where the client is actually sitting across from you doing the tax return. So a lot of them, clients mail the information in, or they email it, or they send it to the portal, or they just drop it off. So let's just say this person's dropping it off. So I would click on Keisha's name. This could be the receptionist doing this. And then I can go ahead and now move it to drop off. And we have it categorized either drop off easy or drop off advanced. But you can customize these to fit whatever is the flow of your office. So all these can be renamed, reordered, deleted, and then you could add brand new events. So I'm going to hit drop off easy. I save it. And let's see if I have another message here. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my home page. So now if you notice, my reminder here is gone because now the person's out of my lobby. Now they're in the drop-off status. So I have a total of 5 in my drop-off. 1 is past due. So how the drop-off is organized, it's going to track how long they've been sitting in drop-off. It's going to track the type of return it is. So I have, 3 1040s. I got 2 1065s. It's going to track the due date of the return. And I can also put an additional due date on there too if I need to have it done at a certain time. So that's kind of what I have. That's why this is saying it's past due and highlighted in pink, meaning it's beyond what I thought should have been the due date. So this is a good way for your office manager can manage everything in the office and make sure things are done timely. And you can assign it to specific people. I know some people, now I could just focus in on what I want to see. So if these are just Mark's drop-offs, I'll just see Mark's. If I want to see the whole office, then I see the whole office. And you can do that to every single event here. So if you want to have something down in return pickup, and you just want to see the ones that were your return pickup to make sure your clients are coming and picking up, you can filter this by just your name. So every user will control that. All right, so now let's say I'm going to start working on Keisha's file. So I go ahead and click on Keisha. I move it out of drop off, move it to tax prep, and all I'm doing is just these are the important things I want to keep track of. Like in your office, maybe you're just going to say, I don't need to have that close. I just want to go ahead and have an event called work in progress, and that's it. If that's the case, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. Adam's very flexible. You control what you want to track and what you don't want to track. We'll send you a list of items, kind of how our office operates, but then you can then adjust it to match whatever fits your office. Got a question. Can you block others from seeing all, which I'm guessing seeing all means, I don't know if that meant seeing all from the office events here. So basically how this works is if you give this user the ability to see tax prep business type, they will see everything here. Okay, if you want to say we have other business types, say bookkeeping, if you don't want them to be in your bookkeeping files, you can control that on their user page, that you can control what business types they'll see. So then they would not see, this is a book, I'll get into this later, like the bookkeeping workflow. They wouldn't even see this page and they could not get into your bookkeeping client. So you can control based on the business type what your employees can see. And then you could also control that you can get inside a client file and restrict, if you want to get that restrictive, what each employee could see. So if you want to restrict and say you don't want them to go in the owner's file, you can go in and say this is the only person that can get in the owner's file. So if that answered your question. And somebody asked a question, drop off, you were seeing a drop off, you had a pull down of each person, can that be blocked? The answer to that question is this cannot be blocked. So this is open. So they can see, and that's how we designed Adam. We designed Adam to be more open so that your staff can actually help you. When a client calls in and says, what's going on with my return? I dropped it off 2 weeks ago. Your receptionist can answer that question. So that is how it was designed. So I know some people might want to be more restrictive of what the employees can see and they can't. With Adam, we didn't go that route. We want our staff to help out and we want to open it up and hope our staff we can trust because we hired them. So the more you strict, that's the less they can help. So the whole goal with Adam is to make your life easier and get home at night when you're supposed to. So that's kind of how we designed it. Another question I think was, the calendar set up in previous versions of Adam were pretty unwieldy. Has this been improved? I mean, I'm looking at the calendar right now. If you don't see a difference between this calendar and what you had previously with Adam, then you need to change your eyeglasses because it's completely different. It's completely different. So, I mean, we're now looking more like your Outlook, and this is all based on requests from our users. So it's going to be, I mean, the functionality is still the same, which was very important to have. So you can actually, know how long it takes to do a return, know how much time to block off. So, but the actual, how it works and how it displays, as you can see, is completely different. So I think our clients are really gonna like the calendar. Let me see if I have any other questions. Okay, let me get back here to. All right, so I'm in drop off. I'm going to move her to tax preparation, and all I'm doing is moving the flow. This should be like just kind of like common sense, moving it. So now I'm going to I'm working on the tax return. So now I move it into tax prep. I'm going to work on the return. So if you have two screens, you can work on the return in your tax software, and then you just pull it up, and Adam would be your notes, okay? Because if you use Adam the way, we think it should be used, you're going to put everything in Adam, and your tax software is designed to just do the taxes, and that's pretty much it, okay? The notes are going to go in Adam because you want everything to go in one place. So now I'm going to, scan my documents, and again, you might scan at the front end, the back end, or, while you're doing the tax return. So if you do that, just go ahead and scan it. Now you have to scan it to a file folder, which can be either on your desktop computer or it could be in a server, and then I'm going to go ahead and then add it into Adam. So I'll go ahead and grab this document here, and hold on a second, I thought I had it. Upload file, and I'm going to drag it in, and I'm going to label it reviewer documents. If I want to be more descriptive, I could right here. Then I save it, and then if I'm going to, let me have another question, I believe. Can you change the office event options? For example, change cashier to pickup. Yeah, the answer to that one is all of our office events right here, they can all be customizable. So you can, if you don't want a cashier, you can eliminate your cashier in admin setup. If you want to change the name, you change the name. So like I said, right now you're going to get about 25 events here. If you want to eliminate it down to 3, you can change it. So Adam's very flexible. You can customize this. It's designed so you customize it around your workflow, not our workflow. Okay, we just kind of give you something to start with, but then you actually design it yourself. Okay, so now I'm doing tax prep here. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I want to have the client electronically sign their 8879. So I'm going to PDF that return, that 8879. Again, I'm going to send it to a folder. Now I'm going to grab it, drag it in here, and we have an upload type, which you can customize this to. We have it called eSign Form 8879. If I check the box, eSign Client, now it's going to be set up to have electronic signature. And we have full access, which means the client will access it on the portal, and I'll show you in a minute how they do that, whether they have a client balance due or not. If they have limited access, that means they can see that document when their balance due is paid in full. No access means they cannot see it at all. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give them full access here, and I save it. And as soon as I save it, they're automatically getting an email and a text sent to them telling them that you just put their e-sign document out there, and it has a link to go directly to the portal. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the tax return out there too. Again, I'm going to PDF that, send it to my folder here. I'm just going to drag it in. And again, I'm going to label it tax return. And right now I have it labeled limited access, so they can access it when they actually pay in full. All right. Now, if I don't want to send another notification, because I have it set that it will automatically send a notification telling their tax return is there too. If I could check this box and I could disable that, so no notifications actually would be sent. Hold this. Now I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now I'm going to go down here and record the fee. Okay, so Adam, again, can do your invoicing. So I got the fee telling me what it is in my tax software. All right, so let's say it's, and if you notice right here, I have a balance due of 165. The reason that is because 2017, they still have a balance due of 165. So this is where, if you're relying on your tax software to be your practice management software, you know, I know the tax software that we use, I don't get to see this kind of stuff. Okay, I can't see past years really easy inside the client file where I can just expand this out and I can see all 6 years of what took place with this client and their fees and everything. You can't do that with your tax software. So again, I see the balance due. I'm going to go ahead and log a current year balance due. Let's just say it's $200. I save it. So now my balance 200 plus 160 grand total is 365. If I mark this actually done, meaning they haven't paid me, and I click on this to print an open invoice, this is what my invoice would look like. I could hand that, or I could go ahead and send this to them both by email and by text right here where it says send invoice. And then there'd be a link again to my portal, so they could go ahead and pay me on the portal, which I'll show you that in just a minute now. So now I'm going to pull my portal over here. Oops, that's my check-in screen. Let me get to the portal. This is what my login portal looks like. So we would replace the Adam software demo with your logo. They're going to go ahead and they can enter their social security number or their email to get in, and their password, which if they don't have one, if you didn't give them one, they can create their own right here. It would just be emailed or sent to them on their cell phone via text. So I log in. Okay, so this is my menu, and again, this is just similar to like the office events. You can customize this. So you can eliminate these links, you can change the name of these links. So it all depends on what you want to display to your clients and what you don't. So I'm going to go right ahead here see where it says e-sign required. So it's my documents. So this is for 2018. So I have it highlighted in yellow, meaning I haven't been in this page yet. So this is brand new, I haven't viewed it. So this is the tax return right here where it says file will be accessible when your account balance is paid in full. Okay, so that it's actually there. It's just they cannot click on it and view anything because they still owe me money. So if I click on balance pending here, I'm going to shoot right into the make payment link. And here I can see I could print my invoice out. I could print a statement out. I can pay my balance. So I owe 218 and 165 in 2017. So I just click on pay with credit card, or I could pay with e-check, which is their bank account. So what we did is, because I'm sure this is usually a question, is to, obviously you guys are probably using a merchant right now for credit card processing. So what we did is we integrated with, and the key is the gateway provider that your merchant uses needs to be authorized.net. And if it is, you don't have to do anything, okay, because we've already integrated with them. If it's not, and you want to provide this service to your clients, we could help you with that and get you set up, but basically it would go through authorized.net, and they're pretty competitive with their fees. So I'm sure they represent a lot of different merchants though, so they're a worldwide company. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and show you how we set up the e-sign to work. So I'm just going to hear some instructions on the e-sign required. I click on the e-sign required link. So first off, they need a PIN. Okay, you can actually give them a PIN, and the PIN is going to be like a 5 digits, similar to what you do inside your tax software on the 8879 to sign. Okay, it doesn't have to be the same PIN. It can be a different PIN. They can create their own PIN right here, and it'd be sent to their email and their cell phone via text, and they would enter that in there. That's considered their signature. So they're not actually physically signing the 8879. What they're doing is they're producing a e-sign certificate that contains all the information needed, you know, per IRS requirements. And that certificate is kind of linked with the 8879, and that's how they're e-signing it. So they're using a PIN signature as opposed to a physical hand signature. So they're going to check the box, I certify that I've read the document that's attached to this, which is the 8879. They're going to enter their name, their PIN, their social, their date of birth, and their zip code, and they all have to match. Otherwise, they will not be able to e-sign. So they get 3 attempts to do this, and then they're basically kicked out, and they have to then physically sign or call your office is what they need to do. So once this is done, They would hit e-sign client. A certificate will be produced right here. You'll get a certificate inside their client file also, and then you get notified that they just e-signed their document. So then you know to move it to the next stage, which could be, ready to review or EF ready, whatever your process is in your office. They can go back in any years they like for tax returns. So I got 2017. I go back 2016. You can put whatever you want out here. So because Adam, you're not actually putting it on the portal. It's actually in Adam's document management system. You're just linking to that and giving the client access to that. So there's really no extra storage going on. So you can leave these things out here forever. The client can actually control it if they want to take this off. Say they go back to 2013, they could hit the delete trash can. That'll remove it from their view. It does not delete it from your files. Okay, so they can also send you messages to here, just like email. They can upload files to here, so they can send you the W-2s, their 1099s, their K-1s. So how they would do it is exactly the way you guys do it. They just scan it. Okay, they're going to scan it to a folder, and then they're just going to drag it over. In here, they're going to label it, say it's a W-2. They hit upload. It says it's been successfully uploaded, and then where you see it on your side is now I'm on the home page here, and this is where we differ. Our portal differs from other client portals is because over here, Office Overview, this is pretty much our communication between us and the client. So right here now it says your Office portal has 4 new messages. So if I click on this, now I see Keisha, she just sent me a document right here. And if I click on the view icon, and where they actually get stored are the permanent documents of her file. So you have a K1 and a W2 in here, and then I then move it to the appropriate year. So say this is a 2017 W2, well then I can move it right down here to 2017 and hit move. And now if I click on account documents, these is where our documents are stored by year by business type, I go to 2017, and there's the one I just moved in here. So we make it easy for your client to just send it to you, and then you're in charge of putting it in the right spot in the client's file. But once they send it to you, it won't get lost because it's always in the client file. It's just stored in their permanent documents until you put it in the appropriate year and business type. So typically, what client portals are doing is they're sending somebody an email saying that Keisha James just sent you a document, okay, and then you got to go hunt it down. So then what normally happens is whoever gets that email now gets to be in charge of going and doing that task, okay. Again, with Adam, we're trying to share the workload amongst your staff, okay. Yeah, they can see portal messages coming through, but I don't see that being a problem. And then you share the workload and you don't get stuck doing all the work. That's why you're paying them money. So it comes in here, and I say all these messages right here, which are, and I'm going to go over each one of them. It's like communications from your clients with your office, and it's just like them picking up a phone and calling. Now, if you're the owner of the company, you don't have to answer every single phone call. So why do you have to be trapped to that email coming in? Okay, so these are just like incoming phone calls here. If the receptionist can, take care of the problem, they do it. If they can't, they can then assign it to us, whoever can take care of it. So they could either check the box here and assign it to a preparer. So that's why I like the way our portal works, is it comes in, the office sees it, other staff can help out and take care of it and, tell the right person who needs to see it if they have to. And then you can reply back to them too, right from here too. If I needed to, I can just click on that, the eyeball, and I can hit reply, and I can communicate right back to Keisha, and she gets a notification to go check out her portal to see why you just sent another message back. But moving down here, I already went over my payments, request appointments. The clients can either schedule their appointments right into your calendar, or they can request an appointment. An request appointment just means they're sending you a message, again, coming on your home page saying, I'd like to come in at 12 o'clock with Mark, but you then control the actual booking of it. So it all depends on how much control you want to give your client. If you want them to get right into your calendar and schedule it, they come to this page. Now, if I come on, let's go to the 25th. So I'll see who's available. So Mark's available. This is his availability. And again, I can click on this calendar here in an Outlook view. This is going to tell me what's available for that client to book based on how long it takes her to do a tax return. Okay, so if the prep time is 60 minutes or if it's 120 minutes, it's only going to show me slots that are available for her to book. And then when she books it, it goes right into the calendar. So if I go ahead and book this thing at 1 o'clock, I hit schedule. Okay, so now it says appointment scheduled successfully, and now she's on my calendar. So if I were to go over, that was on the 25th. I go to my appointment calendar inside of Adam for the 25th, and then there she is right there at 1 o'clock. Also with this shading right here, I didn't go over that. So if you ever see any blue shading in the calendar itself, that just means you have at least one appointment on the calendar. Okay, just again, it's just a visual way of kind of seeing what's going on in the calendar. All right, a few more things on the portal I want to show you before we move to the next one. You could put links in here, so you could link things to your little client organizers if you want, or whatever you think the client maybe would like to see. Leave you feedback. So hopefully you're doing things right in your office, so you want to get positive feedback, and then you want your clients then to get on your Google review page or your Facebook or Yelp page. So we tried to make it easy for them. So I go ahead and click on here. Now if you only have one site, it'll default to that site. It says, how did we do? Did we meet all your expectations? If you say yes, now you're going to have them quickly go off to your review page on Facebook, Google, or Yelp, and so they can tell the world how great you are. Now, say you made a mistake and you didn't do so hot this time. If they say, no, you didn't, then they tell you what happened, and it just goes internally inside of Adam on the home page, and then you can take care of the problem with the client, and maybe there's, this is good feedback too. So negative feedback can also be good to help improve things in your office, but they don't need to tell the world that you made a problem, made a mistake. Then of course they can update their contact information here, and it's automatically updated in Adam. And then up here at the top, depends on if you're a Drake, TaxWise, or Crosslink user. If you are, then you actually will get your EF data flowing into Adam, so that your clients can actually check the status of their refund and their return status right here. So in this case, this client rejected. You move it down here. This year they accepted, and they have quick links going off to the where's my refund on the federal and your state also. And then of course there's an amendment link too. So it'll tell them, if you do bank products, it'll tell them when to come pick up their check. If they're just doing direct deposit, it'll actually say when they can expect their money in their bank account. Now it is an approximate date. It's just 21 days from the date it was accepted, and they're actually there's a disclaimer up here that says to check the latest status, you click down here on these links to go off to the IRS website. One more thing here, we also can link, you can link as many client files to one another as you'd like based on their relationship. So here we have Keisha James, and say she's also owner of BNC Pharmacy or Family Barbershop. She can log in under just one login, say Keisha, and then she can go back over here to BNC, and she can see everything going on with BNC Pharmacy. So she can upload files, which will go right into that company's files. She can review her returns, send you messages, pay her balance due, but it's all related to this company. So I can quickly click back and forth. And then if, say she accidentally uploaded a file under BNC Pharmacy, which actually was for her individual, well, you can actually move that inside her client file to any linked client. And I believe that's it for the portal. Now this is also mobile, so your clients can actually see this in a mobile version. So the way Adam is, you don't actually have to download an app or anything. It'll actually detect based on what device is accessing it, and it'll default to that version. So if it's on a phone, it'll show the mobile version. If it's on a desktop, it'll show the desktop version. So we make it really easy for your clients, to just keep in contact with you even while you're closed, because this obviously is open 24/7. So you can always have access to their tax return. All right, let me move this back over here. All right, so now I'm in tax prep here. All right, so I'm back in Keisha's file. Say she's e-signed everything, and just say she's going to just send me a check. I'm just going to go ahead and pay this thing off so I can show the balance is zero. So say now she's in my office and she's going to pay with a check. Then I come down here, I just say check. I can put the check number right here, and I hit save. And I'm also going to close this out too, because now that was paid. Hit update. Now I can print this out here, this statement, which would be like a receipt showing that our balance is now 0. Right here, payment. And then I can also reconcile. So it depends on how you guys take your money. If you actually have a dedicated receptionist that takes the money, or if each one of your preparers takes the money, you can run a report throughout the day anytime you want, and basically try to reconcile the amount of money that came in with physically how much kind of came in based on how it's recorded. So now from here, say this client, a typical client, may not have all the information for you, all right, which tends to happen. Oh, I think I have a question I may have missed. Like, oh, I'm missing a lot of questions here. Let's see. Somebody asked a question on, is the home on the home page, can you display all business types at once, tax and bookkeeping? I would like to see that. Unfortunately, no, we cannot. It's just too much information. Like, I mean, if you look at this, so this is tax prep right here, which is a lot of events. If I go to bookkeeping, I mean, yes, it would be nice to be on one page, but two, I think it's too much to be on one page. So, and again, we want Adam to be organized, keep you organized, not keep you unorganized. So if you try to shove too much on one page, it's just going to defeat the whole purpose. So to answer your question, we did not design it so you could have multiple business types on one page. Now, if you want to group, say, bookkeeping and payroll, and you just, you know, you can just have the events, you can, because you customize these. So it would just be, you know, the client would be considered a bookkeeping payroll client, not two separate business types. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying there. So you can customize these to fit whatever you want it to show. Let me see if I missed anything else in here. Another question, can another person scan into Adam as I am working in Adam at the same time? The answer to that question is for sure, definitely. You can have as many people in Adam as you want. You can have as many people in the exact same file as you want. So you can have multiple people scanning into Adam at the exact same time. Okay, so how you would know that would be your page would have to refresh, and then you would see that other person's document that was scanned in there. Can Adam sync with QuickBooks, which is a common question we have, and at this time, unfortunately, no. But we do see where that would be a definite benefit, and so that is definitely on our blocks. Hopefully for next year. Another question: can the invoice be generated, be customized? That's been another question. So our answer to that one is the invoice. I mean, it's somewhat customized. It's based on your company information, which you do control that. But then what we say is you can actually block out your company name and everything at the top, and then you'd have to scan, or I mean, print off the invoice with like your company letterhead. So then if that's, I'm assuming that's probably what you want is your logo up there. So that would be the only way to get your logo at the top, but you can control what, you know, what the wording is. It's all set up in admin under the company page right here. So how you want things to display. But then the other parts of it, you cannot be customized, like the actual where the invoice number falls and the date and all that cannot be customized. Is there a way to upload client info for past years, or can you only see past years when Adam was being used? So what you can do in that question would be, or to go into a client file here. Let me go to James, Keisha. Okay, so I go ahead and now, granted, if I click on this, I can see all these years. So if you want prior years uploaded into Adam, we can do that. There is like the initial fee is $300 setup fee, which that includes getting your 2018 client list in. If you want to get 17, 16, we would charge you an additional $50 per year. Now, just so you know, if you were to click on it, when you go into a client file here and you hit add new year, add account year or business type, this will pop up. I can change the year to whatever I want, and I hit add new year. I mean, I'm creating a year like within seconds. So if your whole thing is to try to get your, you know, prior year uploads in there, like tax returns, you know, one, we can, you know, for $50, we can populate all that, or you could do it, you know, it would be on an individual basis. But if your goal is to get your uploads in anyways, you're going to be inside the client file, so it might be just as easy just to do this, as it's really quick to add a year for a client. Or we can also do it as a group too. You can do, there's an admin, there is a rollover feature right here. So if we populated your 2018, say you have 1,000 clients, and now you want to populate 18 and create 17, you could do that for all 1,000 at the same time. So you basically would have to talk to us and tell us what your intentions are for creating those multiple years. Because if it's just to see the years, you can do it quickly here, or also inside the client file, there's a box that's labeled retention right here. So I can put whatever my retention is. So I don't need to create all these years to tell the client's been with me 6 years. Okay, so a lot of our clients just starting out will go in here and hit the retention, or you can send us with your client list what the retention is, and it will populate in here too. So it all depends on what your reasoning is that you want those clients in, so we can talk to you about that. Another question, who sets up the PIN for the customer to enter? So the PIN, as we said, that was tied to the client portal, the PIN e-signature. So you can do that right here. Here's the PIN. I can enter the 5-digit PIN right in here, or as I was demonstrating, the client could request a PIN and it automatically would be sent to them via email or text or both. So whichever way works best for your office. And then we have another question here. I usually send a draft of the prepared return to review before sending the Form 8879. How can I lock the final return for payment if they already got the draft? So if you already have the draft in there for review, obviously you can watermark that thing saying draft, so they wouldn't have the final copy. They did review it, but yeah, then the next copy, when you're on the portal that you're sending through on the final one, you say that they have to pay it. But you did give them access to the draft. Now you can always change the limited access to full access, so I can come back in here inside the client file. Now granted, they did already review the return, but you can always take that back from them. So you just come in here and I can change this from full access to limited access. But that's, yeah, that would be up to how your office runs. But you control whether they're going to get limited or full access, and you can easily take it away just as easily as you gave it to them too. Another question, does Adam interact with my tax software to provide tax return copies in the portal for my clients? So for all tax software, regardless if it, we have an integration with Drake, Crosslink, and TaxWise, but we all have to do things exactly the same way. We have to PDF the return to a folder, and then we drag it into Adam. Okay, so I'm a Drake user, but I still do exactly the same thing as if I was using Pro Series. So that is not part of our integration. So that's basically how that works. Another question, can you limit appointments by number? Like after 4 appointments, no more can be scheduled for that day. The only way to limit appointments by number would be you'd have to come in here basically and block it off. So yeah, there's no way we can say you can only have 4 appointments for the day. If it's open, your employees could schedule you appointments. Okay, so I think it looks like we're getting hit pretty heavy with questions. It might be easier for me to kind of go through the demo, because I want to make sure those people that have to leave it like in 60 minutes, and then I'll just answer the questions right after it, because they're kind of bouncing all over the place. So it might be easier if I just kind of keep going through the demo, and then I'll go back to the questions. All right, so let me go back here to my tax preparation. As it refreshes, so I'm in tax prep. Okay. I go back in her file. Okay, so say the client doesn't have all the information. So then I would move it down to what we call pending client. I save it. I'm going to get a big red message saying you better leave me a note as to why this client is in here. So I'm going to hit the edit pencil. And I find myself typing the same notes over and over again. So we actually created predefined notes. So I can come down here, say waiting on W-2s. It's automatically going to stamp date it, and then waiting for client to bring back more W-2s. And then I save it. So now if this was a drop-off and I need to notify the client, obviously I can pick up the phone, or I could go ahead and hit send predefined notification. And if I clear this out, I can actually type whatever I want here, both as an email and a text, and send that to them. Or if I want to have one pre-filled in here, it's automatically, set up, which you customize yourself. Then I can go ahead and hit send, and that will go off to the client too. And I can get specific as to what they're missing. And then I have it set that this will go out every 15 days, so you can control that. So this is like a notification that will remind the client, hey, we're just waiting on information so we can finish your return. So this is something that your receptionist doesn't have to worry about doing, because you can have these automatically go out both as an email and as a text. So now say this client calls me back up 2 weeks from now and says, hey, I was in your office 2 weeks ago, filed my return, I still haven't got my refund, what's going on? So at that time, typically people start panicking, thinking, maybe let's say 3 weeks ago, because maybe that would be more time for the IRS to actually release the refund. So you're thinking, oh my God, did I send this return? So your first thing should be look the client up. And right away, before I even put the client on hold, I pull this up and I can see right away, oh, it's in pending client. I click on the link, shoots into their file, and I say, oh, Keisha, do you remember? You're supposed to bring us back W-2s. And so she's like, oh, that's right, I forgot all about that. So like within 30 seconds, she could have been very upset with you, thinking you screwed up when you didn't, but you answered her question and put her mind at ease that now it was her fault that she didn't get the information to you. Whereas the typical, if you run around trying to find a file folder, if you can even find it and hope there's a note in there. So that's how things used to work in our office. Okay, this is how things work now in our office. So customer service is better. You don't waste your time, and you're done. You move on. You want to leave a note here as to maybe the client called back, and you leave a note just in case she forgets again. So client called in, and I told her we need W-2s. Okay, if I want to assign that to a specific person, maybe to let the preparer know, I can do that. I just save this. So now in the preparers over here on my home page, because I'm logged into the Mark, I'll look under my user overview. So these are my assigned tasks. So I click on my assigned tasks, and then there it is right here. Just to give you a heads up, from here I can go ahead and I could go in her file and see exactly what's going on when she came in and everything. And then from here I can just remove my name from here. So I don't need to see that in my assigned task anymore. I read it. Okay. But that's how your receptionist could kind of communicate with the staff inside the office. All right. So now down here, because this office events, this is like a snapshot of everything going in your office, So if you do 1,000 tax returns, at some point, or there will be 1,000, if they're all in your office, have already come in, they'll be somewhere on this page, either drop off, maybe they're in pending, they're in return pickup, they're in extension filed, or they're all the way down here and completed. So there's just a way of tracking everything that's going on in your office. So I can see I have 109 sitting in pending client. I just click on that link, opens up my page, and from here I can see all the notes related to it, make sure everyone's been taken care of, everything's been documented, what the problem is missing, and I can also see how many days it's been sitting in there. And again, I got my automatic notifications going out to these clients, both by email and text, reminding them they need to come in and give us this information so we can complete their return. So you can do that in every single event. You can automate that process, so whatever is important to you. If you move it to drop off and you want the client to know that you received the information, you can blast them an email and a text at that time. Return pickup, if you want to let them know your tax return is ready, again, we have reminders that can go out reminding them to come pick up their tax return. Or if they need to come in and sign their tax return because they've already paid, or whatever it is, the spouse. Whatever is important for you to track, you create an event for that and you can see it. So your managers can see exactly what's going on in your office and make sure things are being done timely. So you can always put due dates on things. So again, you'll see alerts, past due, these are past due, 77 or past due. And you can even have it set so that after so many days, you can have it actually be assigned to somebody to say, hey, is this being completed timely? So there's a lot of checks and balances inside of Adam to make sure things do not slip through the cracks. If you happen to be a Drake TaxWise or Crosslink user, because we pull the EF data in, so you can actually see if acknowledgments are in here or not. So in this case, I got these. I'm still waiting on 4 in here, but these 2 have already come in, so I'm going to see their acknowledgments. If I actually click on the year, I'll shoot right in their file and get more information, like when it was actually accepted, the state accepted, how they're expecting the refund, direct deposit. Here's their expected refund date. So your support staff, your receptionists can come in here when the client calls, checking on the status of their refund. So it's really easy laid out, and you can also quickly link off to the Where's My Refund on the IRS website or your state site. And again, you have all the information needed to enter, so you can get the latest status for your clients. So again, I know this information is available on the tax software, but we pull it in so we can have it all in one place, so you don't have your support staff don't have 2 different places to try to look. Let me see, going back to this home page here. What else I wanted to point out? Down here in the daily log, this is going to track everybody who came in your office today, okay, or information came in. So not necessarily they actually physically came in, maybe they mailed information. So these are everyone that was checked in today. So I can easily see, what their status is, how many came in. So right here, here's my count, how many were appointments, how many were walk-ins, how much money came in. I'm also tracking my portal messages, my text messages, which I'll cover in a second, my incoming emails. And I can see whether they've been accepted or rejected based on, again, what tax software you're using. But you get a nice comfort level at the end of the day. Say you took on 25 people came in, that everybody's been put in the right spot. So your owners, managers can get a quick glimpse of what just took place today, and is everything taken care of, where you can't do that really quickly by going to a file cabinet. Okay, that's, I can do this within a couple minutes. And if I see a note's not here for a pending client, I'm going to assign that to that preparer and tell them, here, tell me why this is in pending. So it's really easy with Adam to see if things are not getting done, and then who's not doing them. And you can then assign it to them and then make sure that it gets done. So because everything sticks out like a sore thumb on the home page here, so you know exactly where everything is. So things aren't hidden in a file cabinet. Moving over here let's move over to another business type. So Adam can handle as many business types as you want. So a typical tax office also maybe do payroll, accounting, investments, insurance. So we have a few more business types that we can display here for you. Say payroll. So in this case, I want to keep track of, it's not necessarily workflow. It might be more like just project tasks that need to be completed. And as they get completed, then they'll get reminded again to do them all over again. So like weekly payroll, here I have 8 sitting in weekly payroll. I'm going to track how long has it been sitting in here, what's the due date of it, how many days past the due date. Okay, then when I complete it, it'll then set it up all over again in 7 days from the start date. I'll be reminded to do it all over again. So if I were to go and decide, let me go in this file here where I have some data, like B&C Pharmacy. So B&C Pharmacy here, they're a payroll client, bookkeeping client, tax client. So if I go into their payroll file, scroll down here, this is what I can see in here. So I have these things are set up for due date. So my 9/41 third quarter, my sales tax, these are all past due. My monthly payroll is due in 6 days. So as I complete them, I'm going to show done. If I want to go into my 9/41 here, and I can see whatever notes related to that. So if I ever get any notices, say a couple years down the road, I'm going to go right back into my file, see who worked on it, any notes related to it, to figure out did you do something wrong or not. So all the history is right here, and this is all the due date tracking. So I have that set up for any kind of business type I want. So if I go here to bookkeeping, if I go here to resolution, and again, you customize. So we built these all out. So you customize it to whatever you want to track in your office, whatever is important for you. You can even do business contacts. Like I set this up for a daycare provider, investments, whatever. I mean, it's endless what you can do with Adam. Okay. Now moving over here to the on the user overview here. Okay, so we have assigned tasks. I kind of went over that. Say this Keisha James. She says, I really need Mark to talk to. I can only talk to Mark. I can't talk to anybody else. Even though the receptionist has all this information available to them that they can probably answer her question, but she's just stringent. I can only talk to one person. So you're just going to click on notes, shoot into her file. Down here under task notes where it's not related to an event, I'm going to go ahead and hit phone message. And we have these predefined notes, again, all set up because I find myself typing the same thing all over again. And I'll go ahead and assign it to Mark. I save it. So now the receptionist did their job. They documented it, held themselves accountable. And so Mark now will get notification on his home page. Here's my assigned task. Got one new assigned task. Here it is from Keisha. Please return client's call. Click on the view icon. I shoot right in here. I can then make my note if I left a voice message or I talk to her. And again, I have predefined notes for that. Left voice message. I then would close it out. So that Keisha calls back an hour from now or a day from now and says, hey, Mark never called me back. When we go in the file, we have it all documented. So this is typically another software application you're using like phone slips to handle this or sticky notes. But you don't need to, and again, it's all in one place. So I have the whole history of her file right here before I even call her back, so I have a good idea why she's calling me, and I don't have to pop into different applications to see all this, or go get a file folder. Okay. Also under the user overview is messages. We have internal messaging to communicate with your staff, so you don't have to have an email address. You don't get any junk email. Appointments. This will tell me when my appointments are for the day, week. And again, I could click on this. This is what my calendar would look like, and I can access it again on my phone. Work schedule. If you have staff that are part-time, they might want to look at their work schedule here, so I can look at it for next 7 days. Again, your staff can access this on their phone, and you can also control what your staff does from home and what they don't. So if you don't want to give them access to Adam, you can actually control that through IP addresses, so they actually can't log in outside your office. So that's up to you. Office overview, that's going to be more like portals. We talked about that. These prospects, if you want to try to win people over as a prospect and turn them into a client, you can actually set up a link on your website where it gets funneled right into here, and you can quickly add them as a prospect just by hitting add, and they're automatically in your system, and then put them in your sales funnel. Twilio messages, we have texting. As I've been mentioning, we have two-way texting, so you can actually communicate back and forth with your client. So if I hit reply here, I go into their client file, and all the communication back and forth between her and us is all inside of a Twilio text log. So get it off your phone, put it into Adam, put it in the client file. You have documentation, and it's a lot easier to manage. You don't have to be the one getting it on your phone. It's just like your email. Everything comes into your email, now you're stuck with it. You got to do the task. It comes into your cell phone, you're stuck with it. With here, it comes on the inside the office, and you can let your employees help you. Email messages. This is brand new to Adam. So now we've always had emails going out. Now we can have incoming emails. So you can actually communicate back and forth with your clients just like we can with texting. Now you can do that with email. So there's all kinds of ways to communicate, and everything's in the log. So when I go to reply here, this is my email log. So it's going to show me all my emails going back and forth with this client. So obviously, probably the preferred way to do it is through the portal because it's all secure. But you can only convince some clients. Some clients just will not do it. So you still don't want them using your phone. You still don't want them using your regular email because that's just going to make your life harder. So if they will refuse to use the portal, now you have an option. They can use texting, but it's going to flow into Adam, and they can use email, but it's going to flow into Adam. Okay, so at least now you can manage all this stuff easily where you couldn't before. All right, we also have batch emails and text and portal messages you can just send out anytime you want. Say you want to send out a batch saying tax season's about ready to start or something, you can blast it out to all your clients at one time, both by portal message, email message, or text message. And there's just some filters so I can do it based on my business type, based on if they came to me last year, if they didn't come to me last year. You can try to go after your lost clients. You can also set up templates. So these templates are like your appointment reminders going out to your clients, your confirmations to your clients, happy birthday to your clients. These dynamic created templates, they can be whatever you'd like them to be. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You can set them up in advance and they'll go out both as an email and a text, and you can also attach pictures to them. So we get comments every day when the clients will respond back, thank you for the birthday wish, and it's got a birthday cake on their, and it's coming on their text on their cell phone. So you're still not, I mean, in the industry, there's still not a lot of pictures coming in on cell phones for texting, so that's like you something different. So anytime you can do something different, you know, that's good, because that's going to, you know, stimulate word of mouth. Also, I mean, Adam, I showed you how you can try to get more Google reviews. So Adam is a full package, not just a CRM, not just a document storage. It's also trying to help you generate new business too through marketing. So we got, and staying in contact with your clients. So if I go back into Keisha's file here, we also know that word of mouth is like the best way for new clients to come into you. So we've streamlined the process of tracking that. So right here under referral, so if they're a brand new client, you ask them how they heard about you. So you can, you know, label whatever you want in here, and you can run reports to track what's working, what's not working, how many new clients came in, how much money came in off the internet, radio, whatever. But refer a friend is kind of unique. So when I save this, I'm going to get a referral box pop up, and it's going to tell me, ask me who referred this client. So I'm going to say Deborah Case, and then I'm going to go ahead and link it. It's going to pre-fill her address, phone number, and everything. So now I can send her a thank you. When I save this, it's also going to give me a count of how many she sent to me so far. So she sent 7 for the year, 64 for her lifetime. So this is a very good client. Now I can go ahead and send an email and a text automatically to her, thanking her, and then I can also print this letter to her, and it's all set to go. I just fold this up. It's going to go into like a Windows 9 envelope, and then if you send something with it as a reward for her, you can, but the whole goal is to get that out to them quickly so they can refer new business to you, and don't wait till the end of the year, or just because then by then it's too late and they might not send more business in. But if you're thanking them during the year as they're doing it, they might send you another 1 or 2 clients to help grow your business. And if I go in here, I can actually track, I go into her file, it's going to tell me actually who she sent in over the whole course and how much money. So in this case, I've received over 25,000 from her referrals. And then of those 65, 34 of those are also sending in additional referrals. So I can track the people that are, she's getting to come into my office, but then the ones she gets are actually referring other people to come in my office. So this is showing that she's a really good referral source for our business, and we can run reports on all this stuff too. I think I'm covered about everything that I wanted to do in this, short period of time. Let me see what kind of questions. Let's see here. Will we get notified when the client changes their contact information on the portal? So yes, you will get notified. You'll get a notification right here where it says, in this case, say Keisha James has just updated her phone number. So it'll actually say that right here in the message, and you can then go ahead and put that somewhere else. Okay. Another question is, can the Adam portal link to my website? The answer to that one is yes. So if I go to our website, that's what we encourage you to do if you have a website, is to put the link out there so you can then direct the client to your website. And then right here where it says client login, so this is a link. We'll send you a link to the portal link, and then you just send it to your web provider, and then it's really easy for them to put on the website. Another question, do you have the ability to use KBA on the e-sign of the 8879? So what we're using for the KBA for the acknowledgement, basically to verify that it's really the client, we're using basically on how we interpreted the regulation is we're confirming who they are by matching that data up with our database, confirming their zip code, their address, their birth date, their social, and their name. And I think there's one other thing, and then the PIN. So that's how we are verifying to confirm this is really the client who they say they are. can you limit the appointments by doing a global block? Say I only do appointments after 3 p.m. daily. Yeah, the answer to that one is yes, you can do it. Well, global block, you'd have to do it, say if I block off from 3 to 5 for myself, I can then copy that block into other days, and then I can copy multiple days at once into the entire tax season if I want to. So that's we have a lot of people do that, like for lunch, they'll block lunch off for all their employees, and then they just copy that throughout the whole tax season so that no one would schedule during their lunch hour. Another question, can you limit the appointments by doing a, oh, that's, I thought I just, okay, maybe that went through twice. Another question, can repeating events be set up? We do a number of monthly write-up accounts, for example, and yeah, the answer to that one is yes. So as I was saying, if I go into this client file B&C Pharmacy, so for payroll, and if I go into bi-monthly payroll, and so if I go ahead and close this out, so the start date in this case is 11/25. Oh, it's in advance. I must have been playing around with this one. So I hit mark is done. And it should have created another one for me. If I had it set up right, where I have it set that every 14 days, it should have created another one. I don't know if I may have tweaked that one wrong. Let me go into it. So to answer your question, I may not have this set up properly in the demo, but to answer your question, yes, you can. So every one of these events, you can tell them once I close it out to recreate either whatever you want, 7 days from now, 14 days from now, 30 days from now, 90 days from now, so that it'll automatically repopulate and show up on the home page. And you can also set it up that, say for payroll, that you can set up an automatic notification going out to your client telling as a reminder, hey, make sure you get the hours to me. And then they can also, and you can put the link to your portal, and they can go ahead and upload those hours right into the portal, and then you get notified. And by the way, your clients can also upload their QuickBook files too, for those people that are doing payroll and bookkeeping. Another question, how are missing info emails text turned off? Let me see what she's saying. How are missing info emails text turned off? I'm not sure if you're referring to if you want to shut these off. So if I want to shut off any emails or texts inside the client file, if I just check these boxes here, save it, now it's done at the individual level. If I want to completely shut it off, I can do that globally in my admin page and shut off all emails and texts from going out. Another question, how long would you say it takes to get all this set up? So how the setup process works, if you sign up with us, then we send you your links, how to get in with your username and password. Okay, then you're up and running. We give you a little quick getting started guide sent with that, kind of how to add a client, how to add an employee. And then we also send you a link how to get your client list in, okay, which we kind of help you through that whole process. And then immediately we try to get you set up for one-on-one training with our support staff, okay? And then from there, we kind of ask you, what do you want Adam for? Do you want it for scheduling, for workflow, for document storage? So we know which direction to go because Adam does so many things. So then we give you basically one-on-one access with one of our support specialists to take you through all the way until you don't need us anymore. Okay, but we have unlimited training, so you can always call us. You can always set up one-on-one demos with us. But it kind of varies based on the individual, how long it takes to get set up. But typically, and it depends on if you're only setting up for tax prep, it's really fast. You can probably do it within a couple hours. Okay, because all you're going to do is tweak this page. Now, if you got to do bookkeeping, that one takes a little bit longer because you have a lot more tasks involved with each client. So usually a payroll client, you got 940, 941, monthly payroll, weekly payroll, all that kind of, so it's a little longer of a setup process for those. But for the tax side, I mean, it's pretty fast. And then the learning process, honestly, it's kind of common sense, like moving it from flow to flow and the document storage. So each individual has different jobs to learn, but I'd say you can get up and running easily. And I mean, if you dedicate 2 days to it, then you should be good to go. But it's designed, just to give you a heads up on our tax office, we hire 25 new people every year, and we train them on our tax software and we train them on Adam. So if Adam was difficult to learn, this would never work for us. We've been doing this for like 15 years, okay? So we're a proven source that it is easy to learn because we train new people every single year. So we're not just telling you, we are doing it too, okay? So we designed it to be very simple to learn, straightforward software, and that's the way we feel it is, and that's the experience we get from our new hires when we train them. Next question, what if we cancel Adam in the future? Can we capture, download most of the data that was created in the database? Yes, so like all your notes and everything, you're actually able to go into the files and you can do a dump of that. The uploads itself, you'll need our assistance from that, but we can go ahead and send that to you through a secure FTP site, and then they get downloaded to your server or your workstation. And how it's set up is basically in a tree folder format. So you'll have each folder will be identified, you know, which client it is, and when you click on it, it'll then break it out into years, and then from there, your PDFs, your Word documents, and whatever. So we have some clients that actually do a dump every quarter, just so they can, they're very overly cautious, just to make sure they have everything on their server, plus they have everything on Adam's servers. But we do backups, and everything's securely stored in our data center. Another question, what email address is used for Adam? Will this mean we will be managing another email address? The answer to your question is yes, you will be managing another email address if you use our email, which I would encourage you to do that. The email address will be, it can be whatever you want in the beginning. So it'd be like your company name and then @adammanager.com. Okay, it's got to have the @adammanager.com, but it can be your company name or whatever you want to call it in the beginning. And those emails, for those people, there are some people on the call that may have used Adam before. When you're uploading documents and putting them on the portal or sending happy birthday wishes or whatever, Adam was sending emails out. Okay, so it always had your company name with @adammanager.com. So we've never had, or very rarely have we had issues where our Adam clients would call and say, hey, my clients don't have no clue what this email is coming from. It's when your company name is coming in all caps. I mean, it's actually not as big a deal as you think it is. So to encourage them, like for our tag, this is a new feature for us. Okay, but I am going to make all of our clients, I'm going to force them to, I'm going to try to anyways, that have been using my email address. I'm going to say, nope, I have a new email address. This is it, because I want them all to funnel in here. Now, if I have friends or whatever sending me emails, obviously I'm still going to use my Outlook for that. But all my, the clients, I want them to come in here because I want, I need help. Okay, I don't want to be the one responsible for every email that comes into our email address. Okay, I mean, they can assign it to me if they need to, but if they can handle it and reply back with an answer, then go ahead and do it. I don't need to see it. So that's the answer to that question. What if a client is multiple types? How do the lists work? Okay, so if you have a client that has like bookkeeping, payroll, taxes, how you get the client list to us, and if you go, it depends on what tax software you're using, but if you go to our website, at the very bottom on the home page, there's a link there. It says document downloads. When you click on this, okay, this would be the individual template. It's an Excel spreadsheet. This is the business template. So you would then, obviously your individuals probably going to all be 1040. Your businesses could be payroll, bookkeeping, taxes. So you could send us one, if you want to send one template, and then as long as you identify, so obviously they could be duplicates, but you have to identify this bookkeeping, payroll, or you can send us separate templates. And then when we upload it into Adam, we'll treat it as one client, but you have multiple business types. So it would be just like when you look at them, so like when I go into when I take a look at B&C Pharmacy here, it's going to be one client, but multiple business types. So that's how we get your client list in there. So the support specialist will help you with that. We'll talk you through that for sure. Next question, when you recording this webinar, and can I get access to this invite? Yeah, so I am recording this webinar, so we will send out a link to people with that. Actually, if you want to, maybe, obviously you probably have our email address, So just because I think Andy was trying to track everybody that was on this webinar, so we will send you the link. If for some reason we don't send you the link, it probably wouldn't be until possibly Monday. If we don't send it to you by then, just contact our office and then we'll send it to you if we somehow missed you on this webinar. Okay, next question. You gave an example of emails being sent every 15 days to a client that still owes your office information. When the information comes in, how do you stop future emails from continuing? So in that case, so we have it set up, this Keisha James here. I go into her file. And I also forgot to tell you guys that you can also send out, if they owe you money, you can set it up to send out reoccurring messages going out to them too, as many days as you want. If you want to do it every single day, and then you can shut it off after so many messages. But down here under pending client here, so there's a couple of different ways. One is I can disable it. As soon as I change it and move it out of this event, it'll stop sending it. Okay, that's one way. Another way is to come in here and I can just go ahead and hit disable notifications. I can override the days right here. And then also in admin, I can shut this off after so many. So say me, I'm having it go out every 15 days, but maybe after the 5th one, I'm just going to stop. Okay, I don't want to do overkill on this person. So there's basically 3 different ways you can shut that off. And another question, can email forwarding work? So Adam, you can email forward. Let me see here. This is new to us. Let me see if I have. So yeah, we don't have, if you're talking about email forwarding like to another email, no, it does not. You can't do that. I can reply. It'll go right back to them. But if I need to like assign it to a specific employee, so as opposed to doing email forwarding to that employee, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check this box and I'm going to select who I'm going to assign it to and then save it. Oh, actually, I got to do it this way because I think I hit save, and now that's been assigned to it. So that's basically the same type of thing as long as it's an employee. But if it's a message you had to forward outside of Adam, I didn't think about that, but you cannot do that. I might talk to my programmer about that to see if there's a way to do that. Otherwise, you do like a copy, and then you'd have to paste it if you're doing something like that. So that is I could see that as a little bit of an issue, but I'll talk to my programmer if there's any way to forward it outside of, to go to another email address. So maybe we could put a reply in here, and I could have you maybe manually enter, because right now it's just going to this person. So if you were to then put another box here, maybe another email address, I'll ask him about that. But as of right now, no, there's no way to forward it outside of Adam. Okay, I think I got through my messages. Okay, so I appreciate everybody for being on this the webinar. Hopefully this gave you some good information how you can improve your office with efficiency, and hopefully you'll become a Adam client soon. Now hopefully you're anxious to go ahead and purchase now. So to do so, if you go to our Adam software page, atomanager.com, go to pricing, click on sign up. So the fee is the $9.99 per year or $99 a month. And we're giving you a special as we're getting closer to the end of the year. So we'll go ahead and give you November and December for free for 2019. And if you sign up and pay in full, we'll actually give you another 10% off for the 2020 season, which would give you like $8.99 plus a $300 setup fee. So your best bet is to sign up sooner than later. The price isn't going to change, okay, unless we just take away the discount altogether. But as we get closer to the crunch time, and this will give you a lot more time to get used to the software. We still have the 60-day money-back guarantee, other than the $300 setup fee. So, but you'll definitely, I mean, within 2 weeks, if you're using it, you'll know if the software is going to work for your office or not. So, I mean, I can guarantee it'll work. It's just whether are you willing to make the change to do something different. But as they say, if you do things the same, you're going to get the same results. If you're tired of using the same results, will change your office. I can guarantee you that. So if you have any questions, any further questions, call our office, send us a message. But I appreciate your time today, and thank you, and hopefully we will talk to you soon.